Hello, beautiful. Happy Friday. Every day's Friday for me. I'm happy not because I have a lot of money and I'm loved the right way and I'm accepted. I'm happy and content because of who loves me. And so I am going to retract something and go very deep with you guys. Are you ready for this? So my sister posted something on my page about the shack. And I was talking about, I think our doctrines need shook up a little bit. And I saw the shack and I liked it. And I'm going to tell you what I like about it. But then I'm also going to tell you what was a game changer for me when I knew the intent of the author. And his intent is revealed in his sequel, which is the 28 lies we believe about God. And I'm going to sum that up. It's kind of deep and complicated. I'm going to break it down into the one lie that Young, he's the author of the shack, believes about the cross. It's a game changer for me. Not trying to be a fun sucker. What I loved about the shack was the concepts of forgiveness and redemption. Powerful, extremely powerful. But there is no forgiveness and no redemption without the cross. And so there's a verse in 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. And it talks about the time when we're going to fall away. There's going to be a great falling away. And that we'll be deceived and we'll follow after doctrines of demons. Very heavy stuff. And I'm here to tell you, demons are real. Witches are real. And deception is real. I was so deceived. And I kind of allude to it in some of my commentaries. And when I tell you like a couple years ago that something so horrible happened to me, it was unspeakable, unthinkable, but I was led astray. And there was literally a witch in my living room. Whole nother story. But listen, the enemy doesn't wear a red suit with a pitchfork. This woman was the most beautiful black woman I ever saw. And I believe she was a prophet, but she was a false prophet and a witch. I mean, like a legit witch. She got exposed. And, but she knew stuff about me my whole life. But see, there's a counterfeit. There's the real and then there's the counterfeit, right? Well, the intent of the author, like if you read the Bible without knowing God's heart, you can twist the truth, right? Like we could say, wives submit to your husbands as excuse to beat them. Hello, absurd. No. You know the intent of God. He says, love them as Christ loved the church and laid his life down. No greater love is a man that lays down his life for his friends. Jesus laid his life down. And so what Young believes, which is a game changer for me, his intent, he writes 28 lies we believe about God as his sequel to the shack. And here's the one lie that Young believes, and I read that article, is that the cross is a man-centric concept. That's not God's idea. He said it's cruel that God would send his son to sacrifice. Like he believes in child sacrifice, then he misses the whole point from Genesis to Revelation. And he misses the whole point of those scars. No centurion soldier could hold him there. I told you that. No Herod could condemn him to death. No Jewish throng. He crawled to the cross. And he set his face like a flint towards Jerusalem because it was the will of the Father. It was the design of the Father. And listen, Jesus Christ is perfect theology, and he speaks all along why he came. He was born to die that we might live. There is no life without the cross. There's no redemption without the cross. There is no forgiveness without the cross. So when I read the shack, I'm a mature believer, so I can take the meat and eat the meat and throw away the bones. But when you understand the intent of the author, he really does believe that. And that's jacked up. That's messed up. And that will lead you astray into very deep and dangerous deception. So I retract what I said. I would caution you, because now we know the intent of the author. He doesn't believe that the cross was God's idea and that man is in need of redemption. He doesn't believe in the propitiation of sins. Young doesn't. So that's huge. Propitiation means substitutionary sacrifice. That we're not in need of saving, that we're good. So I'm not the smartest crayon in the box. Okay, I'm not a scholar, but when I read his 28 stuff from his sequel, one of his first, fifth, sixth, seventh lie, he says we believe is that we're we're born, depraved. He says we don't have, we're born good. Well, okay, if he said man put an innocent men, that we did this, it wasn't God's design, that God submitted to man's idea to put Jesus, an innocent man, to death, does that not disprove his whole point? Talk about depravity. Jesus was innocent. He was despised that we would be prized. He was rejected that we might be accepted. He was broken that we would be whole. That's the whole point of the cross. So when I said, don't cling to doctrines, cling to Jesus, I'm saying cling to Jesus and his finished work of the cross. Pistis is faith. It's the Greek word for faith. And there's no faith in your faith. It's faith in the finished work of what he did for you. That's what love is. That's what love is. That's what those nail prints in his hand mean. That's love. So we need to pray for Young. We need to pray for him that people won't be led astray. Because that is a doctrine of demons to say that the cross was not God's idea. Because you want to make sense in your own mind of life. The cross is the centerpiece of all history. I love you guys, and I'm challenging you, and I'm humbling myself, because that's a game changer for me when I found out the intent of Young. There's no redemption, and there's no forgiveness without the cross. I love you. Look into it yourself. Don't just believe me, but don't be led astray. I've been led astray, and about took me out. Love you. You're amazing. Have a beautiful weekend. Shalom.